Joining us now is Rebecca Friedrichs, a lifelong educator, author, and founder of 4 Kids in Country. Rebecca, I really appreciate you coming on the program tonight. We were just breaking down how teachers' unions are getting in the way of at least kids going back to school right now. At least in the city of Chicago, that's the case. But we've also heard stories taking place, whether it's in New York City, San Diego as well. I know that you have your own experience. Do you think there's truth to this?
Oh, well, the teachers' unions are the only reason that our schools are not doing well. They're the only reason that kids are not back in school right now with the COVID lockdowns. Great teachers around the country want to be in school. They want to be with the children. The teachers' unions are the problem. I am so troubled by even the thought of Lily Eskelsen Garcia leading the Department of Education. God help our children.
And so when we break down this debate, it seems like oftentimes it's the teachers union and the power that they possess, and then oftentimes the other side of this is the students. It seems like a little bit of a strange argument, whether it's when we're talking about charter schools, for example, whether we're talking about just school choice more broadly. It seems like one side wants to at least limit the possibilities, limit the options that are out there. Is that a good way to phrase this, or am I missing the other side of this argument?
Well, you're not missing anything at all, and they're doing more than limiting it. They're absolutely destroying choice for families. So what happened in the 1960s and the 1970s is the teachers union, the NEA, that Lily Eskelsen Garcia supports and led for a while, actually bullied the PTA into a stance of neutrality, bullying parents so that they no longer have the ability to stand up for their children. So the PTA doesn't even really have a voice for children anymore at the state and national levels. So what's happened is these unions have completely taken over our schools. They've taken over the policy. They control politicians. They control school boards. They control parents. They control everything. Parents don't have a voice. Children are not protected. Our schools are not the best place for our children 100% because of these unions. They also do not represent teachers like myself. They have never spoken for me or the great teachers I know. We really need to get these unions out of our schools.
And you bring up an interesting point, because actually I myself am from Chicago, and when I talk to teachers, they do share frustrations. It's not necessarily that they're totally in line with what's coming from the top. There are a lot of people that understand that children right now are at risk by not going to school. They understand that if you are a teacher, oftentimes that does come with sacrifices. I mean, I'm not saying that people shouldn't get the proper protection. I'm not saying that we shouldn't look out for their best interest, but we have to recognize that on the other side of this argument, depression is going up for kids, abuse is going up for kids, the health effects are even going up for kids as well when it comes to issues other than the coronavirus itself. So is this something that doesn't necessarily have to do with the teachers themselves, but those making the decisions at the higher ups?
Yeah, that's right. So what you have to understand about these unions is they are neither teachers nor unions. They are Marxist socialists who are trying to destroy our republic. They truly are trying to change everything that America is about. So they are not really speaking for teachers at all. They're not speaking for our schools or our children. They are pushing a political agenda. The teachers I know, I've spoken to several this week alone. They are so troubled that families can't pay their bills, that children are not getting an education. It bothers them that they're getting a paycheck while America suffers. Teachers care. Real teachers care. If I can just say that loud enough and help people to understand, unions do not speak for teachers. They're trying to destroy teachers the same way they're trying to destroy the police. They're trying to divide all of us. The sooner we can see that, the better, so we can get these unions out of our schools and start taking care of our kids and standing up for our country again.
I think that's very well said, because teachers, I mean, they are the backbone of this country. I mean, they do jobs that really they don't sign up for, to be completely honest, and they do a very good job at doing that, and they help guide the direction that we're going. But as you point out right there, oftentimes there are political agendas that are set at the very top that work their way down into the classroom. And oftentimes I hear this, especially from conservatives, but it's not just a right versus left issue. I want to be clear about that. It's the idea that sometimes in schools we don't necessarily have that freedom of debate that used to take place, or the altering viewpoints that used to take place. How can, I guess in this case, conservatives, but also people who just don't like the curriculum that they're seeing, fight back against this in some way?
Well, the number one thing we need to do is get these unions out of our schools. I can't say that strongly enough. But until we're able to do that, we need to educate. Education is key. So many teachers have no idea that their union is the problem. They think, oh, my union gives me liability insurance, protects me from being sued. No, they don't, teachers. Look deeper into it. They can come to our website for kidsandcountry.org and get an education. Speaking of our website, you can learn how to adopt a teacher there. If you're not a teacher and you're thinking, what the heck can I do? Please, please, please adopt every loving teacher or good teacher you know and parent that has a child in public schools. Help them to learn the truth. We've written a book called Standing Up to Goliath. It's full of our testimonies, teacher testimonies, helping you to see that these unions are not our friend. We don't like them. We don't want them. We want to do what's right for our children. We can save this republic with a well-educated and moral citizenry that can self-govern. Teachers were always great at helping us with that until the unions came in and undermined our ability to do our jobs. So the sooner we all get educated and stand up together with good teachers, the sooner we can end this nightmare.
And Rebecca, it's a troubling time because, of course, right now, a lot of kids are forced to go on remote learning. That's how they're getting their education right now. But you can't match that type of social interaction, especially for younger kids who are in their developmental stage where they should be engaging with other kids. I mean, there's something that you learn in school that doesn't necessarily come from the textbook. But even when we're talking about the education that the kids receive themselves, every couple of years, I'll see this study put out that says the U.S. ranks 30th in math, something like that. It's not the exact number, but we see something like that. And so are there other concerns about the way that we educate our children that don't have to do with remote learning or teachers unions, or does it come back to that?
Well, there are deep concerns, and sadly, every single problem and concern is because of the teachers' unions. We didn't have these problems before. We used to be the greatest educational system in the world. What happened? We let labor unions take over education policy. We let Marxists, who claim they're labor unions, infiltrate the teaching profession. So, what they've done is they've brought in, the teachers' unions themselves have brought in Black Lives Matter, critical race theory, the 1619 Project. All of that has been brought in by the teachers' unions. Also a radical sex ed agenda that, oh my goodness, I don't think I can even say it on the air, but they can find it on our website. It's unbelievable. Just this alone, your children can be taken for an abortion without your knowledge or your permission, thanks to teachers' unions. So, there are so many deep concerns in our schools, and we can fix it. We can fix it overnight, especially with President Trump, who I believe is going to prevail. We can fix this overnight. We can have great schools again. We just need to remove teachers' unions and their radical agenda and allow great teachers and parents to work together again for what's right for our kids and our country.
And when it comes to all the things that you're laying out, it's really interesting to me because all the concerns seem to be coming from one direction. For example, you never hear anyone on the other side saying like, oh, my kid learned too much about gun safety today in school or anything like that. It goes to show you that there is a controlled center of the information that we're talking about right now, and that's bad, especially in a school system when you want to get your kids experiencing different sides of each argument, seeing the other debates that are being had, learning from other perspectives. It's something that's very important, something that you send your kids to that a lot of them just aren't getting right now. But Rebecca Friedrichs, I really appreciate you coming on the program tonight and breaking down this debate because for many parents watching, it's a very important one. Thank you.
Thank you.